Right.
Oh, hang on.
Oh,
Oh, we're
doing it again.
there with us,
You
folks.
like blur so much the first time.
Okay, now introduce me. Say something nice.
All right. Yeah. So listen, everyone, last session of the day. Just wanted to say thank you to everyone. There's been a few absolute troopers who have been online for literally 8 hours in a row here. So it's been super fun to have you along. For those of you who don't know Julie, Julie is one of the most recognizable, most sought after, and most highly anticipated speakers that I've ever been at conference with. She gets flown around the world, stays at the world's nicest hotels, speaks on the biggest stages, and you know has an incredible amount of industry knowledge. And I think that you know people who are lucky enough to sort of be in her orbit have really benefited over the last few years from some of the things that she's managed to do within her own business, and then also sort of helped other owner operators sort of scale up their businesses. So we're super excited to have Julie kind of close up Operate for us today. So Julie, thank you so much. I know it's early in Australia, but you know, early bird gets the worm, and thanks for joining us.
I'm here. It is an absolute honor. Steve, it's great to see you. You know, I think this is probably one of the only few times that we've met outside of a bar environment where I normally try and get your credit card off you to pay for the bar tab. So look, thanks for having me today. G'day to folks that are tuning in right now. Yes, I'm in Australia. I'm in Brisbane, Australia. The sun is shining. It's Wednesday morning here. And Steve's right. I get flown all around the world now to talk about how I was able to structure my short-term rental business for freedom and growth. And really what is how I describe it as being the dream life, and really designing your own life and getting clear on what it is you want to do, and really reminding yourself as well that you are allowed to have a dream life. But how the hell do you get there is the question. So that's what we're going to discuss today. So let's see if I can operate these. Today we're going to jump into a few of these things. I'm going to tell you my story. So some of you have already heard it. Sorry, I'm going to repeat it again for those people. I'm going to tell you about my business plan. Self-assessment, and really taking a good long hard look in the mirror, not just for the grey hairs or the wrinkles, but actually going, what the hell do I want from this short-term rental experience, and why am I putting in all this effort? We're going to look at my actual structure. So I'm going to share with you my actual organizational structure from when I was running 130 properties, and just show you how it's set up. And we'll go through into detail. I'm going to tell you the roles, the responsibilities, the remuneration. Yes, I'm going to tell you how much I paid everybody, including myself. So stick with us on that. The secret role, my secret sauce. And look, it's not brain surgery, but it is. I'm going to give you some numbers on how to maybe scale your own businesses quickly as well. And then we're going to talk tips and takeaways. So stick with us. We're going to be doing this for about 20 minutes, a presentation. I want you to throw your questions in the question and answer section. After we finish, Steve's going to hit me with all the hard questions. Nothing's off limits. Well, we'll see about that, but give me your hardest questions, and I'm an open book. I really believe, I guess it's my purpose now to positively impact as many people as I can worldwide. And if that means that I can motivate some of you to replicate the success that I've seen in short-term rentals, boom, happy days. So let's jump into it. Right. Did you know it is possible to work on the business, not in the business? On average, I was doing about 10 hours a week while managing 130 properties. And I'm going to go into more detail on my story, but that was my goal. And in fact, I haven't done this before, but I'm going to go back to 2016 where I wrote up, and I'm going to hold this book in front of me so you can see it. Shameless plugging here, but you're all going to get a copy of this. Anybody who is attending Operate, you will get a copy of $1 Million Host, the ebook. But I wrote right in the beginning, never read this out before. And in fact, I haven't read this for a while until I was prepping for this session. I've always been one for setting a goal and then making it happen. Some of my more recent goals set in 2016 were: one, to establish a business that was innovative and different from what others were already doing in the marketplace. I also wanted to have a business that I could scale up and could be adopted anywhere in the world. Two, I want to create financial freedom so that I don't have to work for someone else to pay my bills. Three, to work on my business, not in it, so that I could continue to develop new ideas and have an awesome life where I could travel and not be trapped behind a desk 12 hours a day. Number four, to develop a business idea that not only changed my life for the better, but also those of others, employees and other like-minded entrepreneurs. Do any of these resonate, folks? Throw it in the chat if any of these are resonating with you right now. Number five, to not have to borrow any money to create this business for myself. I don't want to get into debt for the sake of a new business idea. Number six, to find a business idea where I don't have to chase money. I want reassurance that my payments would be collected for me. Thank you, Mr. Chesky. Number seven, to have my own office, parking, and a mini fridge under my desk. Not bloody hard. Well, you wouldn't think so, but in less than 18 months after writing this and those goals, it was achieved. And for those of you who know me now and follow me on social media, you will see that I am now living the life, traveling. I think this year alone, I've done Mexico, America, Singapore, Dubai, Scotland, Wales, England, and Ireland. And yeah, it's been bloody awesome. I've only had COVID twice, so let's, just chalk those in as well, but survived and just living exactly the dream life that I endeavored to chase. So let's tell you the story. For those of you who are not familiar with Julie George, this Australian accent, renting kangaroos, it's only a joke, honestly, but chlamydia with koalas is not a joke, so don't touch the koalas. My story started in 2016. I had a one-bedroom apartment, and this may sound familiar to some of you because some of you are probably in the same position. One-bedroom apartment that was fully furnished. My tenant decided to move out. I thought, I wonder what all this fuss is about with Airbnb. I'm going to give it a go. I'm going to put the linen in. I'm going to put the Wi-Fi on. I'm going to list it. Within hours, I had my first booking. Within days, I had my first guest. The reciprocal review system, I loved, absolutely loved that everyone was on their best behavior, including me. And I loved the fact that there was suddenly a massive cash cow that I had created. I was in real estate at the time. I decided that I was going to put this into practice for other property investors. I want to create an Airbnb property management company. Now, in 2016, there weren't too many. In fact, in Australia, I don't think we had really any. There were certainly vacation rental management companies, but nobody had jumped on the back of that Airbnb, the hot trend. And certainly using, you can see on the sign there, this is in front of my office in 2016, I was using the logo illegally. Yes, I did have an ice cold beer fridge underneath my desk. Yeah, baby. Phenomenal, Denise is saying. But I really had decided that I was going to start up this Airbnb property management company. I went to my boss, the principal of the brokerage that I was working with, and I said, I've got this idea. We're going to do Airbnb property management. We're going to create all these holiday rentals that we're going to put on, list on behalf of other people, fully furnished homes. He looked at me like I had just said that we were going to open up a lemonade stand. He scoffed at me. So you know what I did? Straight back to my desk, typed up my resignation letter, threw it at him, and I was out of there. I had to back myself. I really had to decide that this was the turning point. I had to make this work. I had to go out there and find others, just like myself, property investors who wanted to maybe stay in their own home, use it themselves, sleep in it themselves, but also make some really good money out of it. Look, it worked. I'm going to talk to you about the structure that I used because that was key to scaling very quickly. There's a lot of factors in fact to talk about how we got there so quickly, and we will cover those. But within 18 months to 2 years, I had reached 130 properties in my market in Cairns, North Queensland, Australia. For any of you who are familiar with Nemo, the kids show, that's where it's filmed. I now live where Bluey lives, so if that helps. But good way of explaining where the hell I am in the world. But 130 properties in the first 2 years, and we had turned over $8 million. That's one of my favorite photos there. And I pimp it around quite a bit because it actually shows that, look, it was real. It happened beyond my wildest dreams. In the first year, I think we did 1.4 million. And that was the inspiration to write $1 Million Host. If I'd waited just 2 years, I could have written the multi-million dollar host. But anyway, some days I feel like the $10 host. So, but folks, that book occurred because people were saying, well, how the hell did you get there so quickly? What's the story? What's the secret to your success? And rather than telling it over and over, I decided I was going to write it down. But I also had a teenage son at the time who really couldn't give two hoots about what his mother had done. And I thought one day you will, and one day you can read it. So books will outlast most of us. And you'll see there's quite a few books in our short-term rental space. Great legacy to leave your family. 2019, let's fast forward. I get a tap on my shoulder from somebody wanting to buy my business. Yes, folks, for those of you who are new to this game, you are building a saleable asset. It's so exciting to think that for every management contract you're getting, you are creating financial freedom for yourself at an ultimate payday one day when you may want to sell that portfolio. So in 2019, I decided to sell, and that was kind of good timing because 2 months later, COVID hit. So great for me, not so great for the buyers in Australia. Now my story is education. I really just want to impart some knowledge. I want to coach people and show people how that they can replicate this success. So look, we're going to do the shortcut, the short version today, but you'll see here, this was the business name that I was running, Host My Home. Yeah, the cartoon character, when we put that up on the front of the office, a lot of the tradies in my area were all wondering what the hell is going on in there. But anyway, it was great marketing, got them in the door. They gave us the keys to their property and we were off. I was charging 25% management fee plus keeping the cleaning fee from the guests. Now, this is very important because I'm going to throw a few numbers at you today. So keep that in mind, 25%, but we were doing mostly what you are all doing now. Now, here's the funny thing, and if only Operto was around in the days that I was operating this business, because I know, Steve, come on. Maybe I'll have to start again. But software, I was only at Airbnb. Fun fact, 100% Airbnb. I didn't use a PMS because I was 100% Airbnb. I didn't have much in the way of software at all. No smart locks. It was just basically dynamic pricing. I wish I had used dynamic pricing, and you'll hear me often talking about my biggest regret. But software, not much at all. Now, whole different story. I tell people to automate, don't complicate their businesses. So for all of the tips that you've learned today, implement them, but be very strategic about who you are using. And of course, go to Operto first. Folks, okay, let's talk business plan. What are the secrets to the success of only working a 10-hour week and walking into your office? And this is when I knew I had made it. When I walked into the office and the girls were like, stop, what are you doing here? Don't touch anything. These girls in my team knew how to operate my business better than I did. So when I heard that, I was like, yes, I'm out of here. I'm going home. I'm going to get my passport out and go somewhere fancy. Let's talk about business plan. You've got to have a business plan. You've got to get what is in your head down in black and white. But before you even do that, you've got to have a CEO mindset. Now, I'm going to take you through a little task in a second to figure this out, but you've got to give yourself permission to be the boss. You've got to not feel the peer pressure of others looking at you going, well, she's not working real hard. Well, she's gone for another facial today. That's okay. If that's what you want to do, go and do it. You don't have to be busting your ass. I think that's the biggest fallacy, is that you can work smart and not hard. You know, a lot of us grew up thinking that there's a lot of pressure on you. If you are not working, what the hell are you doing? And, you know, a lot of people will say to me now, what's next? What are you doing? Like, what do you mean you've only worked 5 hours today? What's the story? And I'm like, well, when is enough enough? You know, I see too many people in our space that are busting their asses now to save for a rainy day in the future, or to really look to retirement. Hello, can we not live for today? You know, I think if anything we've learned in the last few years, it's that life is short and you just never know what's around the corner. If you don't have that lifestyle balance now, it may never come. So please give yourself permission to live your dream life, be the CEO, be okay with delegating tasks. You don't have to do everything yourself. And we're going to talk about that in a second as well, that you don't have to be the smartest person in the room. In fact, if you are, you're doing it wrong. You need to start employing others that are smarter than you. So we are going to talk about teamwork and how we are going to find those people. We are going to talk about, I'm going to jump up, framework with standard operating procedures. If you are doing a task more than once, you need to write out a process, a procedure, put it in black and white, because you can delegate that. There should be a playbook in your business that if you are not here tomorrow, actually, this is sounding a little morbid, isn't it? I'm leaving legacies with my book. I'm not here tomorrow. I'm glad this is recorded. One day you might be able to use it for another event. If you're not here if the business is reliant on you, we've got a big problem. You want to make sure that you are not the full focus of your business. Have a playbook, have it ready to hand over to, so somebody can step in and do the tasks that are needed. Delegate with the framework. Don't reinvent the wheel. There's certainly plenty of people. I saw some checklists for cleaning being shared earlier on. I know that there's a lot of people in our industry that are happy to help you. And it's one of the most supportive industries I've ever been involved in, where we all will help each other for the greater good of short-term rentals. Right. Branding. Nobody comes along and stamps $1 million host on your forehead. Yes, you've got to have a pretty strong ego to be able to do that yourself. But I've got to tell you, by branding yourself, yes, Steve's laughing already. I can see. Steve, you're the only one I can see, so you're going to give me all the audience.
Yeah.
Folks, you've got to brand yourself. You've got to brand your businesses, and you've got to make sure that you set yourself up as the experts in your short-term rental journey in your local area, because that is going to attract the business. You're going to attract listings by people saying, well, I want to do work with that person. Julie knows what she's talking about. But you've got to put it out there. You've got to set the narrative, and you've got to feed the media, feed the press, put the websites up, do the social media, whatever it is to create your branding. So, so important. All right, self-assessment. We're going to talk CEO mindset. Now, this is where the long, hard look in the mirror. I want you to, and I'm going to actually give you a worksheet on this that you can do later, but you've got to just break it down every 6 months. What do you like to do? What do you not like to do? What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? It's something that I would suggest that you do by writing out your tasks, your daily, have a look in your diary, put like a little note next to it. Do you like doing it? Do you not like doing it? Use something like Toggle to track your time, assign a dollar value to these tasks, and then you can start identifying what you can delegate to others. Now, when I talk about delegate, you've got two options. You can employ somebody and have them on your team, now either as a contractor or as an employee, or you can outsource. We've got virtual assistants these days. We've got Fiverr. We've got short stay EA. I know that Maddie is on this call today, and yes, she's my lovely assistant. Actually, let me just tell you about Maddie for a second. Maddie worked with me, and you're going to see exactly how much I paid her. It's not very much, poor girl. I wonder why she came back to me. But she was my assistant But she was such an amazing human that when she contacted me just over a year ago and said, Jules, I'm not happy in my job. I want to do something. I created a job for her. I made her my executive assistant because she's just so bloody amazing. If you can find talent out there, hold on to it, hold on to them tight, create a job. Maddie then said to me, well, Jules, I have got this business idea. I want to create a short stay executive assistant position, a business. And I said, let's do it. I'm going to back you because as my EA, once again, if the business is reliant on me, and in this case it is $1 Million Host, no one else is going to be on that front cover, right? If that doesn't exist, and if I'm not doing what I'm doing now, she hasn't got a job. So I had to create a legacy for her. And in doing that, it was a business for herself. So Maddie, short stay EA is another option, outsourcing. But folks, what I would love you to do, and this is going to be available for all of you. Maddie is saying in the chat, I love this story. You better bloody love it. It's about you. Maddie, we've put this assessment, this worksheet available. Folks, you're going to be able to download this, but I would love for you to do this every 6 months. Just have a think about yourself. It's not selfish to put yourself first. In fact, if you are not happy and if you are not loving on yourself, how the hell are you supposed to put the energy out there for your team and for others to love themselves? So folks, yeah, please do that self-assessment. The next thing I would say is that we're going to talk about putting together an organizational chart. How does your team look? How is it working? When you're employing, I've got a couple of tips there. Change the narrative. Talk about creating a business opportunity for somebody and offering a business opportunity as opposed to a job. Share the profits, pay handsomely, and don't be afraid to delegate. All right, so let's have a quick look. This is the 130 properties, my structure. And what I've done here is I've actually numbered who I employed from start to go. Of course, number one, myself at the top, $80,000. That's what the tax man saw. But folks, it was me. For the first couple of months, it was me doing everything, cleaning, linen, running around, setting these properties up. It is hard work and no joke, I promise you, you all have to go through it. If you haven't scrubbed a toilet, where the hell have you been? Get out there and scrub that toilet. After making 17 beds in one day, I thought, this is bullshit. Whose idea was short-term rentals? I'm out of here. That was thought number one. Number two was I need some help. And the first person that I came across and hired, which happened to be a conversation the very next day, was Glenn, 70-year-old Glenn. Now you'll see in the bottom left-hand corner, property host, 10 properties. I had 10 properties. I couldn't make another bed. I was done. And I said to him, have you got a smartphone, a mop, a bucket, a vacuum cleaner? Here's 10 properties. You're going to look after them all. You're going to clean. You're going to do all you're basically going to set it all up. You're going to look after the guest communications. It's all over to you. And it was like a little franchise structure. Now with that, and I'm going to give you all the details of what he got paid in a minute as well. He took those on. And I guess the conversation was like a franchise. I wanted somebody to come in under my umbrella to take ownership of those 10 properties. Well, I went out there and did what I did best, and that was to go and get new properties, go and talk to homeowners, go and market, go and bring more work into the business. Well, I had Glenn and then, of course, other people running the business. Also, it was very important to me to have very minimal touch points for guests and for homeowners. Now, this is really, I guess, where my structure, my organizational structure differs from a lot of people who have a marketing department, a handyman department, a guest communications department. I didn't do that. I had one person talking to the guests and then my property managers and property assistants. Maddie was the property management assistant. Shit money, wasn't it? Sorry, Maddie. I'm glad you're coming back to me now. So, but I was able to basically get those people to talk to the homeowners. So they were the ones slightly better paid now, not very much. You're here for the love of it, I know. They are the ones talking to the homeowners. In blue, the orange were talking to the guests, and I was counting my money, watching the reviews, and doing just the stuff that I love to do. So sounds pretty pretentious, doesn't it? Counting my money. But all good. So folks, I want to show you the orange property host details. This was my secret role. This is what Glenn did, and then of course some other people in my organization. Basically, there were KPIs put in, key performance indicators. If they were doing well and they were keeping up with the reviews, we had response times as a measure, and they were able to cope with the work, I was handing them more and more properties. If they were not, I was taking properties off them. So it was like a reward system. But one girl got up to 25 properties, and she had her mother, her aunties, all working for her doing the cleaning while she was running around just doing the supervision. Look, there was 6 figures in that for her, and for Glenn, even 1,500 a week he was earning. Sorry, not quite 6 figures for him, but he was very happy. 70-year-old, he had his own little portfolio of properties. But this is just a bit of an idea. So of the 25% commission, 6% went to my property hosts plus the cleaning fee. But they had unlimited earnings. Now, there are also incentives. Incentivize your team. Bonuses, share the love with tour sales, that type of thing as well. All right, top tip. You do not have to reinvent the wheel. This is where, if you're tuning in right now, this is a free webinar. You guys need to soak up all this information that you've got from these amazing speakers today and implement them. The greatest honor that you can do for our speakers today is to actually implement, and then message Will Slickers or Rob Nunes and say, that tip you gave, I actually put it into action. Now, when you find somebody that you resonate with, I want you to see if you can be mentored or coached by that person. I want you to then invest some money. So take all the advantage of all the free YouTubes and TikToks and all that sort of fun stuff out there, but then find somebody and invest your time, your money, and actually get some education, and do not reinvent the wheel. Fast track your success. Sorry, I'm not keeping any note of the time. So I'm just going to say, look, I know a good coach. Shameless plug again. I'm only working with about 6 clients at a time, however. So it's really something that's a bit one-on-one. It's pretty rare, but I love, love, love working with people that are looking to scale, people that are looking to sell. We've got a great mastermind community that you've got 24/7 access to me and Maddie and a bunch of other amazing people that you've seen on this call even today. But today, the one thing I really want to do is just invite you all to just get on a Zoom with me, a 15-minute Zoom. I'm going to give you a free ebook as well, or I think you can actually download it as part of your package here today as well. But please take a screenshot of that QR code or jump on my website and come and connect with me. Do not be shy. I'm here to help. Okay. Oh, that might be, I'm just going to throw back to you, Steve, because I have no idea. I think I've stuffed it. Oh, hang on. No, I can. Steve. Okay, there we go. I'm going to say thank you, everybody, for tuning in and listening to the presentation.
Yay. I'm trying to figure out how I can bring up the questions.
Can you see the questions? Okay, hold on. I might be able to. Oh, look, I'm sure we can figure this out together. So let's have a look. And folks, we are going to go to questions now. So if you've got any questions, throw it in the Q&A. Here we go. I have got them, Steve. So actually,
I see them now. Okay.
You got them? There's one. Okay, so we've got one there from an anonymous attendee. Are there any trends you're seeing in the short-term rental industry in Australia? Folks, Australia, for those of you tuning in, or those of you who want to invest in Australia, what a great excuse to come down once a year for a vacation and check on your holiday home. The trends in the short-term rental industry here, we are seeing some regulations coming in certain areas. Byron Bay, for instance, very famous. It's almost like our Hollywood of short-term of Australia. It's where where Chris Hemsworth lives and a few other big names. But yes, unfortunately, they've banned short-term rentals there. There are some other places that are looking to introduce those regulations. But I would say in that circumstance, get on the front foot. If you're in one of those areas, we need to make sure that we're educating our community and that we are on the front foot and we're showing that all the good stories. Let's get some positive stories out in the media and some happy stories as opposed to all the parties that we get blamed for. Other trends, we're waking up. Finally, we're out of our COVID coma here in Australia. We're starting to see some massive numbers of people traveling. And of course, they're choosing to stay in short-term rentals as opposed to hotels. So yes, very exciting, some of those trends that are happening. But Mr. Anonymous attendee or Miss Anonymous attendee, get on a Zoom. Let's have a chat and find out where you are. Steve, have we got any others there?
I don't see any here right now, except Maddie sort of half plugging to get another pay raise, if I can kind of read between the lines.
Okay, I've got
I'm
actually
happy with the last pay raise, but maybe not quite high enough.
She must have come and worked for Operto. Apparently you pay more.
There you go.
We've got a question from Denise Lee. So we're actually, there's another channel that I'm looking at here, Steve. It's I don't even know how to explain it to you, but I'll teach you how to use Zoom one day. Denise Lee,
that'd be great.
do you prioritize tasks to maintain efficiency within a 10-hour week? I delegate most of those tasks out. And so, as I mentioned, my 10-hour week, I really wanted to maintain checking the transaction history every day, looking at the bank account, making sure that I was responsible. It was at the end of the month and the beginning of the month doing owner statements, making sure the payments were made, hiring and firing of staff. But really, I just had to knock off all those tasks that I didn't like. I really prioritized the ones I really liked. And then I just had to get really clear and really diarize things that are important to you for lifestyle as well. So yes, if it's a personal training session, if it's a massage, if it's a golf game, I want you to put that in your diary. Make time for your family. Oh, that's right. I got divorced during this situation, so don't take any advice from me on love life, but make sure you diarize your lifestyle, and so you've got a really good balance. Okay, we can download the assessment, please. Now, I believe, and we're going to we'll probably bring Nicola in a minute to find out for sure, but I believe that in your there is a section that you can download some stuff, and if not, you're going to get on a free Zoom with me and I'm going to just give it to you. What PMS are you using? None. I promise. So now I've sold my business. I still don't use a PMS even for my own properties, but that's just a personal choice because I'm a big lover of Airbnb, and Brian Chesky is going to put a logo on my forehead one day and pimp me out to the world saying that I'm 100% Airbnb. Can we have the 15-minute Zoom directly from your website? It doesn't produce a code. Yes, you can actually just book a time. It goes through to a Calendly link and you're good to go. But if not, email me, Julie@$1,000,000host, and we'll get that link through to you. What future trends do you see in the short-term rental market that educators should be aware of? Look, I think we're going more towards hotel acquisitions, boutique hotels. I can see a real hybrid mix in that. I can see that something that I really enjoyed in London just recently was asking like children and families what they're looking for in short-term rentals and seeing it from the point of view from Simon Lehman. For those of you who know Simon's little 12-year-old daughter was one of the keynote speakers in London. So that was really interesting to hear from them, from her, a different point of view. But I think we've all seen the experiences, the icons. We're trying to make it more of I guess, it's really important to still have that interaction with our guests as well. All right, sorry, moving through these pretty quickly. Can we display the QR code again? I'm sure we can do that. So let's move back. Hold on. Now you're asking me very technical things. So we need to pop that back up. I'm going to share, new share, and we're going to go Stick with me. Yay. Gosh, I could be a Zoom consultant by the time we finish here. Dwight, he's
I'm
just
scanning it,
starting out.
Julie.
Dwight's just starting out, doesn't really have the capability to hire and delegate to a big team. Any roles you think I should prioritize? Cleaning sucks. And unless you're a great methodical cleaner, it was certainly the first thing that I needed to prioritize. Folks, do not skimp on the cleaning. We all know how important it is that a strand of hair or a loose, the cleaning being bad, it will absolutely crush your short-term rental dreams. Anonymous, what's the most common complaint you used to receive across your portfolio if you have to name one? Cleaning. Cleaning. It honestly did my bloody head in. And it used to be, I think somebody mentioned before that, charging for charging for extras or something like that may actually highlight a complaint on cleaning. It was the first thing that guests would go to. Biggest low point through your experience, and how about a high point? Look, I think the low point, Dwight, and thanks for asking that question. I know you're just starting out. It's not all roses. And I think, we can get on here and talk about how amazing this business is, which it bloody is. And we're not all just happy and looking 20 years younger than we actually are for the sake of it. I mean, I turned 70 last year, and no, I wish. And but I think it's we actually love this business. Like, there's no bullshit about it. Like, it's just an amazing community experience. So I think the high point for me is certainly making some lifelong friends in communities in this business that I love traveling the world with. Steve and I were in Cancun recently. We're in London. We're always in different parts of the world, but it's just so cool to have a group of friends wherever you travel. So that's the highlight. Low light is probably that cleaning again. James McCann's coming in and asking, as housekeeping is so important, how do you incentivize your cleaners? Okay, so I don't call them cleaners. Here's the thing. I actually had my co-hosts, and I changed that narrative of offering a cleaner a job for an hourly rate. Don't do that. Talk to somebody about a business opportunity, a business in a box. What can you offer them? How can you share the love? So for me, it was sharing that percentage, giving them 6% plus the cleaning fee. Dangle some sort of carrot there. Make it based it on your reviews. You want to make sure that the reviews are top notch, and you want to be able to offer a cleaner. Maybe so all of my co-hosts started off as pretty much typical. I found them as cleaners. They were either residential or they were 5-star hotel cleaners that I went to, and I said, have I got a deal for you? Here's a business in a box. I'm going to offer you an opportunity to learn about short-term rentals. I'm going to allow you to communicate with my guests. So I actually just gave them an incentive to be more than a cleaner. So treat them as entrepreneurs, treat them as business owners in their own right. And I promise you, the respect level, the pride, the loyalty, if you can then also incentivize and say, if you bring me in a new property, I'm going to give you $100 or a percentage. When you can start dangling carrots like that, boom, game over. So anyway, folks, that seemed to be our question. Steve, I'm going to head to you. Can we give away some prizes?
For sure. Listen, I think before we get to the AirPods, Julie, thank you so much. I mean, I think it's been an amazing session. I've been lucky enough. I was just thinking, I was like, how many times have I seen this presentation? But I mean, I think the one thing for sure is that this is a timeless presentation. I think that, regardless of where people are tuning in from, any corner of the world, I mean, I think a lot of this information is just gold dust, right? And so thank you for sharing those nuggets. And, and I think the one thing for me is, or that I would keep taking away from these is, it's like, how do you free yourself from operating in your business and to help you build your business, right? And figuring out sort of where are all those pain points that you can maybe alleviate through technology or outsourcing or finding great partners or staff or whatever. Like it's a cool playbook. So thank you again, and hopefully everyone got as much out of that session as I did as well. And Julie, I was actually just also thinking, is like, where is the next conference I'm going to see you at, because I'm sure it'll be somewhere exotic, and I haven't actually looked that far forward in my schedule. So I'm sure at some point this year we'll catch up with each other
I
again.
am sure. Maybe we
Anyway,
get
so
you down
thank
to
you so much
Australia.
for coming in and wrapping it up for us. Really
My
appreciate it.
pleasure. Maybe we get you down to Australia in October.
You never know. And listen, we are on time. We've got 1 minute left. So I'm without further ado, here's Nikki back to give away some AirPods. And supposedly, Julie, you and I can't win them. So